Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of my Let's Play World of Tanks. Hope everyone's kind of excited for the new little news that they posted just recently, the 8.8 update, or the 88 update. It's kind of funny, it's 8.8 and they didn't take advantage of that name and do a lot of German stuff, but hey, they are actually including quite a bit of German things, so I figured I'd touch upon those. And that is that in 8.8 they're going to be introducing a new Soviet medium line. It looks like it goes up to tier 8 at the moment, with the tier 9 and 10 coming in when they rebalance those out properly. I've been reading a little bit on the different blogs that those are not going to be implemented, but yet the medium line will be. They'll just be put in later. Just simple fact that they're tweaking those those tier 9s and 10s to make them a little more in line with everything else. They seem to be a little out of whack. So that's kind of cool that they're willing to throw stuff and new content in there without, having to issue out something that could potentially be game breaking one way or the other. That they're willing to hold off portions of it just to make sure that they get it right. So that's pretty cool that there's going to be new Russian medium stuff coming out, especially since that's kind of my favorite tree is the Russian current medium, the 62A, which, long status update. I got my bat chat. So that's awesome, and now I am at 4 million credits, and I'm slowly working my way back up to get the 62A. So hopefully I'll be able to get the 62A shortly. Yeah, I just had to take that small detour because the Bat Chat came out, and that thing was on special this 15-day little period. So I wanted to take advantage and get that thing while I still could, because that's actually one of the better mediums to be running during Clan Wars, next to the 62A. I mean, it's kind of trade-off between the two of them, but hey, I'm not going to argue, definitely want one of them. So, now that I have that tier 10 and we're enjoying this bounciness that is the trouble with replays, I like a lot of the different comments I've been reading on my old video. It's kind of cool. I might have to go look at those and then address them in the next portion of this video. But anyway, so, aside of the medium line for the Russians, they're also going to introduce some new things to the German line. Well, it's not really new, but they're going to be moving stuff around. They're going to add 2 new vehicles, the Tier 4 DW Heavy Chariot, interesting name there, and then they're also adding a VK 3002M medium tank to take the Tier 6 slot. So that means that they're going to move the 3001H medium tank, which was a Tier 6 currently, to a Tier 5, and it's going to become a heavy tank after it rebalances. And also, the infamous 3601 medium tank is now becoming a heavy tank. Those are going to be some pretty small heavies, but I think they're more in line with the intention of those tanks originally. Because originally those tanks were, how do I want to say it? They were kind of like precursors to the Tiger, and so they were a heavier chassis, heavier design. So it's going to be neat that they're going to bump them up to a heavy class. I don't know what that's going to really affect, but it does mean that finally you're going to start seeing some low-tier German heavies, as opposed to the first time seeing them is a tier, Tier 7 for the Tiger. So it'll be nice to finally get some heavies down in the mid-tiers for the Germans, just because they've been lacking it. And so in addition to that, the 8.8 patch will bring out some Chinese premium tanks, a tier, Tier 8 T34-3, which is basically a T59 or T54 with a 122 on it, I believe, and then the 112 Tier 8 heavy tank, which is going to be, if I remember my stats correctly, and I could be wrong on this one, so you have to double check my facts here. I don't have my facts in front of me, but I believe that is like an IS-6 variant of sorts. So I'd have to go and look it up again, but I believe that's a similar in vein to an IS-6. Of course, it could be slightly different, but that's at least what I remember reading. Now, anyway, so of course there's going to be a new map, which is Tundra, and that's kind of like a fall-looking map in the... they're saying that it's Arctic, but it looks very fall-ish. So I don't know where exactly it's going to be taking place. It is autumn, and Tundra is generally like Canada, so maybe that's like, I don't know, Canada, Finland, Norway, somewhere in the northern latitudes would be my assumptions. But yeah, so that's kind of a interesting little new update. 8.8 is really going to bring some changes to the Germans. I don't know if it's necessarily needed as much as they just lacked the, what's the word that I'm looking for? They just kind of needed some new stuff. I mean, the lack of a tier 5 and 6 heavy that everyone else has just sadly was I don't want to say hurting it, but they were missing out on some things that other groupings were able to get. So that's really cool that they're going to be able to do that. And now this is, let's get into this game here that I've been derping around for a little bit. And we see that there's a swarm of artillery just chilling out here. And we're slowly whittling down on tanks. Myself and Zaro are doing what we can here. But there's all these little tanks here that we need to worry about. We're both hitting things left and right. My buddy Zaro in his little FV derp howitzer, what do you want to call it thing? It's an SPG, but its view range is basically its gun range, so you have to be right on top of people to make it effective. And of course, my reliable Lorraine 155-50, I actually, this tank has become one of my favorite SPGs. I don't know why it doesn't hit very hard, but I've actually found it to be very accurate, very quick firing, and just generally a good artillery piece. And just, I really enjoy it and have a lot of fun in it. So, kind of am enjoying the fact that I'm really learning to play this tank very, very well. And just generally having a good time with it and making it work for me. I mean, it's interesting, to say the least, because there's a lot of other SPGs where it's rough. Your reload and travel time for the shells is massive. 40 plus seconds, and then a lot of travel time on top of it. I mean, there's no easy, solution for SPGs right now, and it really takes someone dedicated to really figure out how to make this game work or make the SPGs work for you. And I mean, right now, as you see here, it's now artillery versus everything. They've got a good smattering of different tanks here, and it's going to be a little rough. My 25-second reload here is going to help me out a little bit, but I mean, that's a lot of SPGs. That's a lot of mediums, heavies, TDs. There's a lot of stuff just available still on the board that we're going to be stuck having to deal with here. I'm slowly picking them off. Luckily, Zaro's up there. He can spot for me because he needs to be up close to the action anyway. And I'm just going to do what I can and hope for the best. But, I mean, this is a lot of tanks. They still have a heavy tank and a TD, as well as that SPG. So I'm just going to have to try and whittle them down the best I can. Nice hits for kills are going to really help here. But sadly, when these guys get disappeared on me and I can't see them, not a whole heck of a lot I can do. So now we have just me and this 14-1 here against the Lorraine Arty. So I have a mirror tank. I have, not a mirror cat, a mirror tank. Have a KV-1S and an SU-85. So the odds are stacked against us here in this battle. All we can do is really just kind of hope for it. If the SU could just spot out one thing, we'll be golden. Like this TD, now that he's spotted, I can just take my time. I can wait for it, get set up, and as soon as I do that, got him. Perfect shot. That SU had to risk himself, sadly, but it kind of worked out for us. He didn't kill him, and I was able to smash him. We just need to now find the, where are we looking for? We now have, the problem is the cap. They can easily outcap us. I did see that tree get crushed, so that means they're either diverting, yep, there they go. So, right there is the KV. Let's see if I can range in real quick. Our SPG just got crushed. And so they have a KV. Luckily, I hit him and critically hit him. That did help out because otherwise there's no way I would be able to kill him with 2 shots in this thing. But now he's down to about 1. Yeah, my average damage is, I don't know, hovering in the high or, well, mid 300s. So that was a low roll, but still a successful hit. And that helps out a bunch. Now that they're capping, I really don't have much choice. I have to go for it. So my only option is to dive into the wolf's den here and see what I come up with. I know both tanks are one-shottable. I just need to get lucky and good about it. And then just hit them the best I can. So right there's the 1S. I know I could probably take a hit. I do. It's just a minor surface damage, luckily. So I get him. Just perfectly get him. That was a lucky shot that thing powered off like that. And then we still have the Lorraine, which is coming in here sometime. So there was his shot. I know now that he has at least 20 to 30 seconds for reload, depending. I'm 100% crew with a rammer and not Vince, because this thing's open top, but rammer and everything else. So I know that my 25 seconds is a lot shorter, and plus I have the upgraded gun. I remember seeing him with the longer gun. So 20 seconds, there goes about 10 to 15 seconds. I know I have time, and it's approaching the 20-second mark, which is right here. Alright, so now I have at least 5 seconds, hopefully, and there we go. Got him. Won that one just by the skin of my teeth. That was a close, epic battle. Woo! Alrighty, let's go take a look at those stats and we'll move on to a next one. Fantastic little clutch game there in the artillery, getting both Top Gun and Defender on that one, more or less by the skin of my teeth. That I got lucky that the other artillery fired and I had a little bit better reload time than him. Otherwise, I probably would have got crushed because he was looking right at me. So I must have got that, he must have been spamming that clicking button trying to get me, and it just, I got lucky and was able to just put it right in there before he was able to get it off. So, whew, that was a rough little battle. And as you see there, every little bit of damage I did ended up with me getting a kill by the looks of it, at least that I can tell. What is that? 1, 2, yeah, 7 kills. Yep, 7 damages, 7 kills. Not a single one that I touched didn't go without me killing them. There was a few that I missed blatantly early on, but that really turned around at the end there. I thought for sure we were done. Yeah, initially I was missing left and right, and I was commenting to Zaro that, hey, I'm just not on it right now, so good luck, you're going to have to pull or wait. But lo and behold, when it came down to the clutch timing there, we just happened to make it work out. He did the spotting he needed to for me. I was able to just make the hits, just the luck of the RNG there that was able to make the hits that I needed to make. So a lot of this game is luck and RNG, and I hits early on in the game, it was not for me at all, but then at the end there, it kind of just decided that, hey, I'm going to help you out here with the RNG, and it worked out perfectly. So that was a very good game there. I really had a good time during that one. Let's go ahead and take a look at the team score, and we see that I did 2,200 damage total for about 800 experience. And of course, Zaro right below me getting a little over 500 experience and helping me out quite a bit there with all those spotting little bits here and there. And of course, our whole team did everything they could. It's just the other team just did so much better at that time, and we just got lucky that how can I put it? We just got lucky that they that the RNG decided to start to wake up for me. I mean, otherwise it would have been a loss, and it would have been a very harsh loss at that, but a close battle nonetheless. So let's go ahead and take a look at the nice, lovely detailed report, and we see that I did 15 shots fired, only 6 of them hits, and 5 of them being splash damages. So out of those 6 hits, 6 of them were penetrating, so that's good to know. They were all lesser tanks for tier-wise, so that's probably why I was able to. I did receive 1 hit. Luckily, it didn't damage me, because as you see there, 450 was the potential receive, so it was HE, but he shot me in the track exactly. So a lot of that damage got absorbed into the track itself, which is nice, and the fact that they implemented that whole tracks now or spaced armor, because if that actually penetrated or hit me anywhere but the track, probably would have been dead. That would not have been as epic of an ending otherwise. And yeah, so other than that, it was just a good battle. I got that the top experience reward there, or top damage reward, yeah, top 3 damage. Ended up getting double my credits. So awesome sauce. Anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at the next little clutch play video thingy I might have, and yeah, we'll go from there. Alright, so now into the Crusader. I'm having a heck of a time learning how to play this tank properly. It seems to be a very, very fragile, low damage tank, but I'm told that its relative difficulty for playing this tank is very well rewarded when you get later on in the British medium series, because the Comet and the whatever comes after the Comet, and whatever the 6 and 7 tier British light tanks are, or not light, mediums, they all but make up for the difficulties that is the Crusader. Crusader is a speedy tank relative. I mean, it goes about 40 kilometers an hour, so it's relatively speedy, but the gun on it's just strange. It's very low damage, medium pin, somewhat fast firing, and it's just the thing has absolutely no armor. Its low profile, though, does help it in the fact that it can get concealment better, it can get around terrain in the fact that things are going to be hitting the terrain a little more often than it's going to hit you, and it's a little bit of quick torque as opposed to horsepower, so I'm able to get up and get going quicker than others. Now, the gun itself, though, it's kind of a luck-based weapon here. It's not like it's it kind of arcs down really bad compared to some of the other ones. Its bullet drop is heavily affected, I'd say, and it's a big hit. So it's a tank that I'm just trying to still learn. It's not exactly the easiest tank to deal with, but it's a fun tank nonetheless. And it's little profile is its saving grace. The fact that it can basically sit in this terrain and be very obscured but still get shots is nice. And its gun is fast enough firing that it can be annoying. So I'm going for more. Someone made a very nice comment on the other video when I was talking about heavy damage and its effects versus what do you want to call it, high alpha damage. So basically it was how should I word it? He basically said it's always potential damage over alpha strike is basically what he said is the best way to go, because you know that one shot with the high damage can easily be overridden by the fact you're going to bounce, whereas a consistent amount of fire is obviously going to lead to more damage over time. So that's what this thing actually does, is it brings very good consistent damage because it's continually pounding the target. Its reload is, man, I wish that the stats or the mod carried over the countdown time, but I think it's between 3 and 4 seconds for me here for the reload. It is very fast for the Crusader. And yeah, so it's one of those, hold on, we can find out right now. So it's 4 seconds even, give or take. Of course, that's just counting in my head, but it's maybe less than 4 seconds, so about 3, maybe 2 to 3 seconds seems a little more reasonable. So anyway, with that said, this tank is it's speedy, it's consistent damage. It's one of those tanks where you basically want to just run around an opponent and try and outrun their turret and keep just hitting them as quick as you can in the sides and back. Of course, going against the front armor, this thing's going to really struggle at having only, what, 100 pin, 110 pin, which, I mean, is actually kind of normal for this tier. But the problem, of course, is the whole damage rate. You're only doing 75 damage average. So while you're going to penetrate a lot of decent hits, it's more or less the fact that you want to be able to do consistent damage over time. And that's going to come from just continually hitting them in the sides, hitting them in the back, trying to do critical damage. Getting tracked there out in the open was not a good thing at all. Of course, this 85 is going to be reloading almost as quickly as I am, give or take. He's running a short 85 or long 85? I think he's running the short 85. Either which way, it's going to hurt. Yeah, because if he was running the bigger gun, I'd probably be dead. But needless to say, my speed is what saved me there. I was able to get around him. He did get that extra hit on me, which would have easily killed me. Now I just got to go find everything else. It looks like we're doing well so far. Oh, and now we're back to even. We lost Gilly and our M4, which is not good because his derp cannon was kind of our saving grace there against some of these heavier targets. Now we're kind of dependent on the PZ4, the Hetzer, and the other stuff that I have no line of sight to because of my radio. So there's an M7 ahead of me. Luckily, he's not looking at me. I'm sitting here like, is he looking at me? What does he do? Is he AFK? I don't know. So I'm just going to have to power up there, try and get to him, get behind him, and kill him. Now, what it looks like, and here's where it's going to be huge advantageous for me, is it looks like it's a bot. Because he just got stuck on these dragon's teeth, and he's not even looking at me, and I'm sitting here behind him just shooting him over and over. And as an M7, if he turns his turret, I'd be dead. So I want to say he's probably a bot, but I'm not going to chance it. Either which way, he's dead now. That's all that matters. So now I have to dodge some artillery shells. There's 3 artillery left on the board. Just dodged the big one, which was the important one there, the M41. That thing would have just easily killed me if it got within 5 feet of me. So now I just got to swarm around him, try and get out of his gun range, or out of his gun sight, because even derping right in the front arc like that, he'll be able to kill me, no problem. It's just, I need to, yeah, there we go. So now I'm behind him, can easily tackle him. So now that he's done, I need to go after the Sturmpanzer, which, you know, that's going to be relatively easier. So we'll just take care of him. We got really lucky that Wesp didn't actually kill me, because he actually dropped that, like, right next to me. So I'm going to be able to finish both of them off, just like that. And what's left is a PZ4, a KV1, and an AT2 that I got to deal with here. So we do have artillery. We have a grill. We have a birch gun, which and a Hetzer. So we just need to count on them to pull their weight, and we can do it. Now we got this PZ4 here. We need to hit him. Of course, he just bounced. So he's, I can't get hit by him. I just got to keep dodging left and right. That's my only hope. Luckily, he moved, and I got that last shot off before he got me. Whew, that was a little too close for comfort. Got the PZ4. So now we just have two big heavy tanks here, KV-1 and an AT-2. We do have the Hetzers coming in. We have me who can spot for our artillery. Our artillery's sitting there ready, waiting to go. So I need to spot. We have 40 seconds. We have to spot him to clear this cap. It's our only hope. So I know I'm not going to penetrate either of these tanks from the front. All I can do is just poke out, spot him. So right like that, spotted him. He's looking right at me, so I need to duck into cover. Alright, now we just need to rely on the artillery to do their thing. And what happens? Artillery doesn't do their thing. They don't hit, sadly. It happens, not a big deal. So now I just gotta, the time's ticking short. I'm gonna let this Hetzer get around. Alright, so they reset it that way. I go out to peek again, and this KV is just looking right at me who was invisible before. The Hetzer didn't even see him. He just came out of nowhere, and he just got me. Those damn cloaking Romulans and their silly little KV-1s that can cloak in the open. Sadly, though, no such luck. Couldn't finish them off. All that's left is our artillery pieces. The Hetzer got crushed. They're now gonna kind of just disappear off the spotting. And sadly, that's all that's going to happen. The shots that they took just weren't going to happen. So, and of course, our artillery sadly is not able to make a push. So we're just going to jump ahead here, close it out, and there you have it. The battle's going to wind down. They're not going to be able to get up there in time. The two tanks are doing what they can, but sadly, no such luck. 7 kills I got, 2,000 2,000 damage there, and just couldn't pull it out. Tried to do what I could, but that KV-1 just was right place, right time, looking the right direction, and I just pulled right out right in front of him. So let's go take a look at the stats, and we'll wrap it up there. Fantastic game there, just sadly couldn't come up with the win. It happens from time to time, and of course, that actually is the constant trend for me. Every time that I do so well, we end up losing. Every time that I do absolutely nothing or get 0 damage, yeah, that's when we win. It's just the way that it works for me, sadly. I mean, it's not too bad, though. So, whatever. I mean, it's still a good battle. I'm still trying to learn the Crusader more and more. It seems like it's more of a harasser or hit and runner than it is any sort of anywhere near a frontline tank. It just can't take a hit. It has no armor, and its damage just can't keep up. So it's one of those tanks that you just kind of get behind the enemy lines, peg people at the sides, or you support other tanks. Definitely not one that can run, front line with everyone else. You take the road less traveled and hope for the best. I just got lucky that what they sent over in that area didn't really focus on me. They were focused on other stuff. So anyway, I got a Top Gun again, getting the medal for killing 3 artillery with a light tank. I forgot which that actually is, but I ended up getting it. And so, yeah, not a bad little battle there. Sadly, a loss, but 1,200 experience for a loss is massive. If I had gotten a win, that would have been what? Probably an extra. What is it extra for a win? It's like an extra couple hundred, or it's like an extra 50% on top of the extra 100% for the double. So I would have gotten somewhere probably about 15 even for the win. Either which way, that would have been a fantastic little game, but hey, I'll take it. I had a fun time in this tank. I'm still trying to learn it. I'm almost actually done with it, which is the sad part. You're going to blow right through it before I actually do anything. Then again, I might still have some ways to go. I think it's like 40 to 50,000 for the next tank, and I'm only about 10 to 15,000 on my way up. So got a while to go, but it's one of those tanks where I just doesn't seem to work in my mind. So I need to wrap my head around it, make it work better for me. Anyway, so we see everything what he did here. We'll go ahead and move on. A lot of spotting. So 5 spotted tanks and a lot of just damage hits. Good amount of kills, but still just a lot of damage hits. So let's go ahead and move on to the team score. And we see that, yeah, I was on top with 1,500. And Fish right behind me with the 700. And then Gilly right behind him with the M4 with a little bit under, well, what is that, a little under 600. Yeah, so not too bad. Top 3 is filled with us. And then sadly, the only problem is just the sheer amount of people who had 0 damage. If they just got a little damage. Both teams, though. I mean, that's indicative on both teams. If you look, there was so many people with double digits and single digit damage numbers. And it's just those people, if they would have had one hit would have made all the difference in the world. But sometimes it just doesn't happen, just doesn't come out that way, and it's sad when it's your top tiers that do that. But I mean, hey, it happens. You can't win every game. I mean, I'm a very bad offender of getting 0 damage games and then getting a win. It's just how it works for me sometimes. Can't always do it, but hey, things like that would have made all the difference. And that's one thing that, if you can do your hit points and damage, then that's all people ever want to see. I mean, if there's one thing you should ever strive to, if you're really trying to learn how to do something in this game, it's if you can do your hit points and damage, you've done enough. That's all anyone could ever ask of you to do. And that would be fantastic if that's your ability. Anything above and beyond that is great. Anything below that, it's not like it's bad on you or anything. It's just that's one thing you want to strive to do. If you can set that as your goal and then accomplish that over and over, then that's perfect. That's what people want to. That's what really helps the team, is seeing that your hit points worth of damage is committed. Even if you don't get any kills, doesn't matter. Kills don't mean much. It's about the team winning rather than, the individual like me getting 7 kills. It's a rarity that I get something like that. So anyway, let's go ahead and pop over to the detailed report and close it out. We see that I fired 47 times. Good grief, that's a lot of shots. 32 of them connecting and 30 of those actually going through. So 1947 for our damage chart. So hey, cool number. And then getting hit 8 times, 5 of them penetrating, 1 of them being a splash damage, and then 3 of them bouncing. I was lucky with those bounces. So that KV though, he said nope, and he crushed me hard. So 900 damage potentially received. That's double my hit points. Well, not exactly double, but close to double my hit points. And then yeah, so traveled pretty far, almost 3 kilometers. So not a bad little game there. Just wrapped it up there. Not a whole lot. I did the best I could. Sadly, the team, it's just one of those things where it just happens. You can't, fault anyone. You do what you can, and if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. That's the great RNG that is life. So anyway, as you guys have seen, there's a lot of rubber banding issues with these replays lately. So I think I'm going to switch to current live plays rather than the recorded, which of course means that I'm going to get random stuff that might not be good, might be good, might not be good, so we'll just have to play and see what happens. Anyway, guys, I want to thank you for tuning in, and I will catch you in the next episode. See you guys.